Hello, welcome to We Did a Podcast with Frank and David. We are here today to do another podcast for you folks and for ourselves, really, in an never-ending quest for knowledge.
Yeah. Are you giving us a second never-ending quest now?
Life is a never-ending quest that
true.
ends.
Is that the meaning of life?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, Frank.
All right, what are we
It's
doing
beautiful.
today, David?
Well, today we're talking about places lost to time.
What a fun way to spend
Yeah.
one's time.
Yeah, right? So occasionally, in our lives, we come across something that has been looked over, maybe completely lost. In my research, I found a lot of hidden towns or ghost towns in various states across the United States. I didn't see anything that I was super sold on though. But anyways, before we get into mine, why don't we go into yours, Frank? What did you bring to the table today?
This table right here, David?
Well, I meant the metaphorical table, but there's also a literal table, so both. I
Okay,
guess.
cool.
Yeah, both.
I think I can handle that.
Okay.
So originally I talked about doing another story, and then in my research for that story, I was like, you know what, bail. Mainly
Ooh.
because I was misremembering some things about the story, and it wasn't a result to any place being cut off
Oh.
for a long period of time. It was all just genetics and disease and a little touch of
interesting.
inbreeding.
So these people
What are you gonna
did, and what were these people again? Just so everyone can know.
The Blue Fugates of Kentucky,
Blue
which is a
Fugates.
really interesting case, but just not what we were trying to talk about today.
Yeah.
So I had to steer the ship in another direction, so to speak. The metaphorical ship, David.
Before you get all the way into yours, it's really funny because I also kind of had the same thing. I knew what I wanted to do, and then I realized it wasn't exactly what we agreed to talk about, and then I was like, I got to change. I was going to do the hidden classroom in El Paso High School.
Okay.
El Paso High School is one of the oldest high schools in Texas. It actually wins a bunch of awards for most beautiful architecture of
It is
public
a
high
gorgeous
schools.
campus.
It really
it's really
is.
nice.
And basically, in the 19 teens, or it might have been the 30s,
19 teens.
it's reported that these people went down one day, during a blizzard or something, and they went into the basement. And there's these hidden crawl tunnels, and all over El Paso there's these hidden tunnels. But apparently there's this classroom that they found that was untouched, but stuff was left on the table, and it was walled up. I don't know. It's a really creepy story. If you're not from El Paso, you probably haven't heard of it. I think everyone in El Paso's heard that story once. But anyways, on to places actually lost to time.
All right. So I'm going to be talking about probably something that you wouldn't think about initially as a place being lost to time. Normally you would think of an abandoned city,
Yeah.
or some ruins. We're going to be talking about an apartment. And I'll tell you a little story about this apartment, David.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Madame Marthe de Florian was a somewhat known French courtesan during the Beautiful Era, which in French is the Belle Époque.
Ooh,
Belle Époque.
beautiful
Belle
pronunciation.
Époque. Well, I did a little bit of practice
Okay,
before we
well,
started recording. Wanted
Oh,
to go
yeah,
ahead
yeah,
and
yeah,
nail that
that's
there. David, do you know what a courtesan is? Because I had to do a quick Google. I was like, I feel like I've heard this word before. What exactly did this lady do?
Is a courtesan the French word for escort?
Yes, it is, David.
Oh, hey, right on. Okay.
Good on you, friend.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
very proud of you in
I'm
that
not sure what
moment.
that knowledge says about me, though.
Yeah, sometimes you just know things and you don't know
Yeah.
why you know those things.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
She was a little bit known because she had taken a lot of famous lovers of the time, certain politicians before they became really big politicians,
Okay.
different artists of the time. And the Beautiful Era, in France, was basically just this era between 1871 and 1914, where there was just a lot of really nice art coming out. There were a lot of there was a huge importance placed on aesthetics and
Interesting.
so everything was really ornamented and beautiful. It was
Okay.
really nice looking stuff too. Hopefully, I don't know how much editing you plan on doing on these, but hopefully we'll get a couple of photos of this apartment because just visually it's beautiful.
Let's not get anyone's hopes up, I guess.
Yeah. So Mrs. De Florian gave birth to two sons, both named Henri, one of whom died at
Wait,
only
what?
3 months.
Wait, what?
Yes. So she gave birth to a son named Henri.
Okay. He died.
He died at 3 months old.
And then she went with the same
Later on,
name again.
she another son. She was a really Henri. Last one didn't stick. Henri number 2.
I mean, is this a weird cultural thing? I feel like that just is strange in the
Strange,
United
right?
States.
It feels like a weird decision.
Is that cool with French people? If you're French, let us know.
If you're French, let us know. Even if you don't know if it's cool, just let us know if you're watching this and you also happen to be French.
Yeah, I'll settle for that.
Bonjour. Pandering. Okay, so we have Mrs. DeFlorian. We have her son, Henri.
Okay.
Henri gives birth to Solange. Oh, I knew there was a second name that I needed to look up. Solange Bugarion? Bugarion. We'll just call her Solange from now on. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
I slipped up there. What are you gonna do?
Bulgarian.
Yeah. Mrs. DeFlorian passed away in her apartment at in 1939. I think she was like, I forgot how old she was. I did not look up that fact. What are you gonna do? Sue me. Don't sue me, please. Don't.
No, don't.
Yeah,
Why
I'm
would
sorry.
You,
I got
why
carried
would
away.
you incite
Oh my
that?
goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't.
Inappropriate.
Please don't sue me. Mrs. DeFlorian dies.
Okay.
The
At what
apartment.
age?
She dies in 1939. She dies at the age of old. She is fairly old.
Okay.
More than 27, less than 127.
Okay, I'm glad that you shortened the gap there.
Yeah, there's that. I feel like that's a reasonable window. The apartment is eventually inherited by her granddaughter Solange, daughter of Henri II. This is her apartment for some time.
I'm sorry. It's like Henri the Second, but not
but
really.
not the second.
But
'cause
actually.
yeah, but actually, yeah, definitely the sequel, not the second.
My gosh.
Henri back at it
The
again.
sequel, back at it again.
Henri, live free or die hard.
Oh, wow.
So Mrs. Solange is living in this apartment in Paris. This is in the 1930s, 1940s. She is a playwright. She's just trying to write her plays. And then some jerks start rolling into town. And I don't know if you ever heard of these jerks, David, but they're called the Nazis. And I don't know if you know about these Nazis, but boy, they're jerks.
Are they the same ones from Charlottesville?
Not the same ones. Not the same ones, but
Okay.
this is
Too
those Nazis. Love these Nazis.
They love these Nazis.
All
they're
about
the
these
throwbacks.
Nazis.
They're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
OG Nazis.
Yeah, for reals. This is like their like emo bands now, like to the Smiths, current Nazis.
Oh my gosh.
These Nazis walking around in Paris.
Oh, okay.
So obviously Solange is like, I need to get out of here, flees to the south of France. She's like, no mas.
Classic French move.
Yeah, whatever the French equivalent of no mas is. If you are French, let us know in the comments.
Yeah. Or if you can use Google Translate,
Yeah.
because we're too lazy.
So obviously, having to deal with something like that, you probably never want to go back again. I couldn't confirm whether or not she ever returned to Paris at all, but she definitely never went back to the apartment, like to rearrange anything, to do anything else. Never stepped foot in the apartment again. The rent and the expenses were paid for until she died in 2010 at the age of 91.
Whoa.
That age I did get. So there you go.
Whoa, weird.
Mm-hmm.
2010. It's just weird to, I mean, it's just weird to think people lived through World War II. You know what I mean? It's just so far away in history now. But sadly, how much longer? Anyways.
How much longer? How much longer? Solange's heirs eventually track down the apartment. They get a team together to get the lock open. It's a lock that hasn't been touched in 70 years.
Okay.
And they have like an art appraiser because they're aware that there's like some art in here. They're aware that like this apartment hasn't been touched for 70 years. Some of this stuff is probably gonna be worth some money. And that's pretty much like when this team opens up the door, they note that like there's instantly like a smell of dust. And everything was so like still and calm. They called it like an overwhelming stillness of just this like room that had been frozen for 70 years. A room that like lived through World War II and has just been sitting there, like waiting to be cracked open.
That's weird to think about.
Some of the documents that they found documents dating back to the time. They found lots of just like beautiful furniture. Really, like this apartment looks beautiful. It's kind of unkempt because it was the last day anybody was in it was the day where the apartment's owner was fleeing Nazis to the south of France. So you're not gonna
Wow.
like make sure everything's like put away and tucked and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They find some artwork. One piece of interest was a painting of a woman in a pink dress who actually turned out to be Mrs. de Florian,
Okay.
Solange's grandmother.
Yeah.
Some of the art experts kind of noticed some strokes. It's from the right time. It looks like the right style for it to be. Let me see if I can find this painter's name really quick. Giovanni Boldini, who
Hmm.
was a painter of the beautiful era in France.
Okay.
He kind of has this theory. While in the days that they're going through this apartment, they also find some old love letters of De Florian's from Boldini. She was like a client, and he painted this picture of her. He was like the muse for the picture, which was
Wow.
kind of scandalous because he was married at the time, and he was seeing this
Oh.
this courtesan. Oh, sacre bleu. No offense to our French listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. David and Frank and Beans just killing it in France.
Oh yeah. So that in this like snapshot of early 20th century life, they find this undiscovered piece of a very important French painter's. It was eventually sold at auction for 2.85 million. So nice little chunk of change coming
Okay.
out of that estate
Okay.
for Solange's heirs. But I just thought it was
Wow.
really interesting. Like I would have liked to have been one of the first people to walk in because it's just like straight up like a snapshot of that time. You know, and it's
Yeah.
just been there waiting.
It's bizarre to think that, like, imagine if someone came to you right now and was like, "Oh, hey, remember your great aunt Bertha? Well, it turns out she's had this apartment that hasn't been open since 1960 or something, and we're gonna go over there right now." And like, it would be like, "What? Excuse me, what?" It's hard to also believe that in an apartment building there would be no one who needed to go in,
Right?
like no maintenance person. They were never like, "Oh, we need to change this out or something."
Well, nobody ever
For
complained
70
about
years.
anything.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
No one complains.
I'm sure a ton of stuff in the apartment didn't work, but nobody was using it.
The lesson that we really need to learn today for our French audience is if you want to live in some low key apartments, you need to figure out because the management is very hands off.
Maybe that's just a side effect on Nazis.
Maybe.
Hands off management styles.
Wow. How many of these things do you think existed at that time? You know what I? They're,
Probably
they're
all
high-
kinds of weird stuff like
yeah, all across Europe because
Oh,
people
yeah.
were just leaving. I'd
that. Gotta
imagine.
hightail it and run.
Yeah, there's going to be all kinds of things like that left behind. And then what's even weirder to think is that after all of that, during the war, you have like soldiers essentially looting things for trophies.
Yeah,
to send
and that's
home.
that's one of the crazy things too, that the apartment didn't just get looted.
Yeah, in France because and France was completely occupied
Oh yeah.
very early on, if I'm not mistaken, in my military history. It wasn't like the first country, but it was like the third or fourth. I feel like they took over, and of course, it was what 2 days or something before they surrendered. How long was it?
It wasn't a long time.
It wasn't a long time.
It was no Stalingrad.
Yeah. Oh. Poor French people. That's the birth of the joke
Yeah.
forever.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
It's ridiculous to say that
Call
French,
the Americans.
French people are cowards and give up in military conflicts, but at the same time, they also have like Napoleon. That don't make no sense.
Some things don't make no sense.
That's
And
true.
that's what we learned today.
I guess. Well, Frank, pas plus que. That means no mas.
Oh, thank you, David.
I probably didn't pronounce it well at all.
Who knows? The
Um,
French.
The French. Viva la France. Mine. If you're finished, were you done? That was actually a real question. Though.
Yeah, I am done.
Oh, okay. Well, let me swing on over here. We're traveling.
That is the
around.
tale of the Parisian time capsule apartment. This is what they're
Parisian?
calling it.
The Tale of the Parisian Time Capsule Apartment.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Hardy Boys book or something.
Read a lot of Hardy Boys book.
Did you really?
Yeah, for the AR points.
Oh,
It was
me
like a
too,
decent
actually.
chunk.
I read a lot of Hardy Boys. I don't know if we've ever talked about
I was like,
this.
this was an easy read. I'll just keep reading these.
That was Harry Potter for me.
Yeah.
I read Harry Potter, and those are worth like a fat amount of AR points.
Oh, yeah.
Accelerated reading. Still happens today.
Really?
Still happens, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really strange. And
Wonder
then I
what
have some
kids are
kids who
reading.
are like, Well, one of the kids was reading Harry Potter, and they were like, "It's worth a ton of AR points," and I was like, "That's what I said." But I don't know. Kids don't watch as much Harry Potter as you think anymore. Harry Potter, a thing lost to time. But
Ooh.
anyways, on to my place lost to time.
Hogwarts.
We have a story. I need everyone to go and grab their globe. You know what I mean? Go real quick. Look in your kitchen, right next to your blender.
I don't have one.
Grab your globe. It's in your kitchen.
Can I get this cat?
No, the cat.
The cat doesn't count?
The cat isn't good for geography. Everyone, we're just traveling to Brazil. That's all I'm getting to. My story takes place.
I know where Brazil is.
Um,
It's like that way.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I'm really bad at like judging where I'm at when I'm inside a building. I'm like, which way is outside? Yeah, you're right, I think.
No, wait. It's that way.
Is it?
Yeah. I got turned around. Mexico's that way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, duh. Just find Mexico. Easy.
If you're ever lost, just find Mexico.
Just find Mexico.
Yeah.
There's the lesson for today. Okay, so my story is a place lost to time. I knew about this phenomenon and I had heard about it before. And the original story I heard was in Canada. And what I'm talking about is like indigenous tribes of people being found who have been undisturbed.
Ooh.
And I think it's just so interesting to see literally what our history looked like. This one, though, when I was looking it up, it just happened like this last week.
Very interesting.
August 24th, 2018, an Amazon tribe previously undiscovered.
Wait, do they do free
found.
2-day shipping?
That's awful. This Amazon tribe was found by a drone. Coincidentally, the drone also was delivering a package to them. No, the drone, they didn't see the drone because the drone was so high up. But they got these pictures of people carrying these like staffs, and they have these kind of like hatch roof things. This is something that happens in Brazil kind of frequently in a weird way. There's
just like, oh, they found another tribe today.
Yeah, there's 11 of them. There's 11 known isolated tribes of indigenous people in Brazil, which the article, and this is a CNN article, was calling them Indians, which I felt really weird about. But then I was like, okay, whatever. This isn't the point.
I got to move past this if I want to read the rest of this
I need
article.
to read the rest of this thing. But it seemed weird for CNN. Like Fox, okay, I would have gotten that. But you think CNN
Like, hey,
would have
nobody
been
proofread this?
on their political correctness?
What is your editor doing?
Anyways.
What does he even do?
There's 100 of these cases known wide, actually, which I think is pretty insane to think that there's just 100 of these tribes all over the place, different parts of the world. This one was near the border of Peru. And here's what I think is kind of the fascinating part of the story. There's a group in Brazil called FUNAI, and I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I also didn't have the due diligence of Frank to look it up and figure out what the pronunciation is. I'm going to go with Dunai and say that, my confidence has sold it and that it is pronounced correct. It's spelled...
I mean, I buy it.
Oh, no, I said Dunai this last time. Funai. So the F. See, that's hilarious.
Now
That's
you're
what
flip-flopping,
cockiness
David. You're
gets you.
flip-flopping all over the place.
Yeah, well, whatever. Funai. It's Funai. That wasn't even on purpose, but that really worked out. This is a group that is dedicated to protecting the interests of indigenous tribes. They aren't in contact with them at all, you know what I mean? But they are like making the judgment call that these people need to be left alone, which is kind of weird. It's
like, hey guys, these guys not chill. They're like
their
super
meeting.
not chill.
Not chill.
Leave them
guys.
alone.
Leave them alone, bro. Don't get them mad, bro.
Seriously, you guys see the Funai coming, you turn around, you walk away.
Well, this group was founded in 1910 by a Brazilian marshal and explorer Candido Rondon. My handwriting's getting terrible. My handwriting's getting to the point that I can't read it.
Interesting. Have you been time traveling recently?
Oh man, shout out to our Movie Quest time travel. This thing sorry, that totally got me sidetracked. This explorer Candido, the Brazilian who started this group Funai, his famous motto and philosophy for the group was die if necessary, but never kill.
Okay.
Which
That's
I thought was
it's
pretty
kind of the
hardcore.
opposite of hardcore. but in a hardcore way.
Yeah, the point of view is hardcore.
It's hardcore pacifism.
Right? I was like, whoa, that is a weird mission statement. More importantly, how do you convince someone to join that group?
It's a hard sell.
It's a very
I'm
hard
not
sell.
convinced.
It's a very hard sell. I'm kind of fascinated with this kind of group, maybe mostly because of the movie The Village.
Ooh.
And this sounds like a more like satisfying ending probably to the story. But actually,
The ending's horrible.
the ending of the story's ultimately probably not going to be good. And I'm sure some of these people will be okay, but of a lot of these groups, there's been some serious issues because these people are they've been separate from society for hundreds and hundreds of years while we've been fighting off diseases and then like creating medicines and vaccines. And then there's like stronger diseases. So now
We've created diseases.
right, we've created diseases. There was a case.
Oh, cat on the table.
Whoa, cat on the table.
Cat on the table.
Whoa. While you handle that cat there, there was a group in particular that they were talking about, another, I want to say Brazilian group. They came in contact with some people that weren't even trying to, do anything wrong or trying to like hurt this group of indigenous people.
Which is the perfect opportunity to do something wrong and hurt in a group of indigenous people.
Inadvertently, because they ended up like giving this group smallpox.
Yeah,
and these people
that's how you
just
do it.
could not, like, there was no way to
Was it
handle
blankets? Because I've seen that move before.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you made me hit my mic. That was so awful. That's terrible.
That's
terrible
America's
joke, right?
move. They can't steal America's move.
Wow. I don't think anyone's trying to steal that move. Well, maybe.
The Brazilians.
Maybe. So yeah, we have these groups, and just a few things I think is really interesting. One of these groups I saw in Brazil, they are nomadic hunter-gatherers.
Okay.
And they don't ever settle in one area. And my first instinct was like, wow, this is like a primitive group. And then immediately in my brain, I was like, is it not right to call another group of people primitive? But then the other half of my brain was like, no, this is primitive people.
Yeah, that's
like,
what it is.
This is before agriculture.
Yeah.
And like agriculture and domesticating animals, that's what makes living in one place feasible. So I don't know.
That was literally like the next step towards civilization.
Right. Literally, yeah. By definition.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. But then I also think, man, these people are probably living completely fulfilled lives. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. They're probably super just like happy.
Yeah.
I was joking about them being not chill, but they're probably the chillest and the illest.
Super chill, super ill.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them have come in
Well,
contact
especially
with,
now.
Well,
Yeah.
you're terrible, man. That's amazing. I walked right into that. These people, though, some of them have come in contact and they refuse to contact people. Like, so they know about the outside world. Maybe they don't know the extent of the outside world.
Because they don't want to.
They don't want to. They don't want to know anything about it. They won't even talk to other indigenous tribes in the area.
Okay.
All they care about is being secluded. Unfortunately, some of these groups have been like kicked out of the areas they their land because of contracting and deforestation. And there's like pollutants in waters that have gotten people sick because even the smallest amount of pollutants in this water is going to affect their body in a way they have no tolerance.
Yeah, they're not used to that stuff.
I mean, we're drinking pollutants every day just in the tap water.
I probably just had some pollutants right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I think it's sort of fascinating. I'm hoping that they should just be able to live like this. I hope it's such an interesting thing. It's like we've talked about a lot, me and you, just off podcast.
You and I?
Yeah. That like space travel, for instance. People talk about space travel and the vastness and infinite nature of space, but we don't even know what's in our oceans.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about that so many times. Like the ocean is just so incredibly large. We don't even know what's on all of the continents. And now it's like we have groups of people who are literally hundreds. Like this is something you can only read about, but now you can see this example live. And what's even more interesting is some of them like have bow and arrows. There's a picture of a couple of them shooting bow and arrows at like a helicopter or something in the sky, essentially, whatever's filming them. And it's like, what? It's the same exact design. It's like by nature, man has thought up this design, the string, and they see the stick and they're like, wait a second.
That's the solution to the problem. How do I put this stick into that
Exactly.
rabbit's neck.
The arrow had the feathers
Yeah. You
on
gotta
the
keep
end.
it straight, man.
Someone was like, "Oh, of course, the feather. The bird flies straight. Let me use what the bird has." It's like, what? It's so weird to see that people will just go through the same
Fall
steps
through
over
the
and over
same
again.
channels.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's so much to learn on the planet. That is basically what I was trying to get at.
Well, I don't
there
know
at
if
the
it
end.
was you that I was talking to about it, but just I was thinking about all the different species of animals we don't know about
Yeah.
that live in North Korea
Yeah,
because
that
we are
was
not
us.
sharing information back and forth. Like there's got to be a bunch of like species that are indigenous only to that area. Like even a little bit different from like the animals of South Korea because it's like a jungle out there.
Yeah.
Like different insects and bugs and birds and all this kind of crazy stuff we just don't know about.
Yeah, that's insane to think about. That's insane.
Maybe
to think
even
about. Maybe
hermit
one day.
crabs from the Hermit Kingdom.
The Hermit Kingdom. Can that be the official name? Did you come up with that?
No, I didn't come up with that. I'm not
really?
that clever.
I've never heard that before.
It's because you are even less clever than I.
Well,
You're
that's
dumb.
fair. You beat me to it, so you trapped me in that. So I think that's fair.
Gotcha.
Speaking of being less clever than I think it's Peeps and Predicts time, man.
Ooh, nice. We got some fresh predicts in the jar, thanks
Yeah.
to some fine folks.
Hot off the presses.
Some good stuff.
We got a jar of Peeps here. Do you want me to read the Peep? Do you want to read the Peep?
You get the first peep, David. I feel like I always
Aw.
get the first peep.
Aw.
It's your time to shine, baby girl.
Oh, I probably did it last episode. Watch if we go back.
Shine.
I feel like I dropped something, but whatever. Let's see here. Let's see here.
Show me, David. Show me, show the people. Show them what you got.
Wow, this is confusing. This is written by Drunk Alexis.
I love a good drunk Alexis
Yeah,
selection.
this-
We need to get when Alexis is in town next.
Yeah.
We need to get some more drunk Alexis suggestions.
Yeah, this might be the last one. So I hope you all like this. And this is an old one, so take yourself back in time to the announcement of Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. The question is Scarlett Johansson whitewash versus Decker. And what he means is in that Ghost in the Shell movie, Scarlett Johansson's playing like that android cop from Ghost in the Shell. Well, I said Ghost in the Shell twice. He's playing that android cop who's Japanese in the story because the story's in Japan.
Mhm.
Well, technically, the character is an android. I don't know. But in the movie, we have Scarlett Johansson, who's clearly not Asian, playing this character, who essentially is kind of Decker from Blade Runner, which I know you've only watched like once, I
I've
think.
only seen it once, and it was late
Yeah.
at night. It was like not a good movie watching time.
Yeah, that's a movie you can't watch late at night. No shout out to the time travel movie club. But there's
And I'm pretty sure I was like giving a tattoo the whole time. Because didn't I watch Blade Runner with you,
you did watch it with me. It sounds very familiar. Who were you giving a tattoo to?
Caroline?
Oh, Caroline. Shout out to Caroline. She's probably doing some modern hippie thing. I don't know. That was mean. There's no reason to tease her. She's very cool.
I'm gonna send her the link to this video
Oh no.
so she can be offended.
Timestamp. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But Decker, there's a theory that Decker is also an android.
Okay.
And they're both investigators. And
Was he also supposed to be Japanese?
No, he's just supposed to be Harrison Ford. The confusing part, though, is that there's a second Blade Runner, and I haven't seen it. And the second Blade Runner would make it seem like he's not a replicant because he would have died. Because replicants have a short lifespan. That's the whole point of the movie.
Okay.
Well, maybe not the point of the movie, but the premise, anyways. Okay. Enough explanation. I hope that sank you in somewhere. I don't know.
I get kind of a general
Okay,
idea.
I'll help you out. I've seen Ghost in the Shell, the movie, because Ghost in the Shell's confusing. There's like 5 different animated movies and then like 2 series of anime to watch. I've only
Anime.
seen the OG movie. The movie's what started it all. That's what I've seen.
The Og.
Yeah.
All right. So which one of these android that was supposed to be Japanese or somebody who may be an android who's going to win in a freestyle battle, David?
Okay, first off, you completely nailed everything I explained, which I'm excited about.
I'm a good student.
You were just like bam, 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 bam.
When I
bam.
care about the subject matter, I'm a great student.
Every teacher's how can I reach these kids? Okay, so freestyle battle. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the floor with. This is difficult because I don't see Harrison
My
Ford.
first argument is, wow, what a tough question.
I don't see Harrison Ford or Scarlett Johansson.
Doing
being
well, but that makes it a
yeah,
good competition.
that does make it a good competition.
That's what you're looking for.
Okay,
Like evenly matched.
give me a second to contemplate.
Because just age-wise, I want to say Scarlett Johansson has a better shot. But
Okay.
but you know what?
Wow.
Harrison Ford's like,
That is
I was gonna
ages,
say
bro.
Harrison Ford might just be a cool person and we don't know about it, but what we do know about Harrison Ford is he is not a cool person.
Oh, like he's frequently like a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if it was like, oh, Harrison Ford, like, okay, so it is. I know it's Decker and oh man, I can't.
Well, I don't
remember,
know enough about Decker's personality,
I can't
David. What's
remember-
Decker like?
I can't remember this girl's name. They call her the Major. I'm pretty sure. Major. She has a name, but anyways, the Major is fine. The Major and Decker, I feel like both kind of have similar personalities. Though they're both kind of just like on the job and maybe like a little obsessed with the job and not
Ugh.
looking for any
So
kind of
really
nonsense.
not like made for freestyle battling.
Yeah, and both are sort of noir stories. Drunk Alexis came up with a great pairing in this one. I'm just saying, because these stories, and maybe we were talking about this
Out
when
of
we
the
came
mouth
up with
of drunk babes.
it. Yeah. Anyways, oh, hopefully not.
My argument.
Okay, give it to me.
Scarlett Johansson's character, definitely an android.
Okay.
So it could be reasonable to say that you could upload freestyling programs, procedures, algorithms, and such, however computers work,
Whoa.
into this android. Decker may or may not be an android, but if he is not, he is at an extreme disadvantage because he cannot just instantly learn how to freestyle. And this android could be spitting some bars, dude.
Wow.
Hot fire.
Frank, that might be the best argument in Peeps and Predicts history.
I'm good at it.
You took I'm awesome. And wow, I'm 100% on your side. ScarJo and her whitewashing roles takes the lead.
You get it, girl.
I'll grab the next one. I
Hit
don't
it.
know if you heard about this too, but she had this thing with like, she got the role playing a trans character,
Okay.
and then people got upset because she already whitewashed Ghost in the Shell, and people got really upset, and she actually dropped the role because she was getting so much heat online about it.
Ooh.
It's kind of crazy to think about.
She's not trying to end up like Jake Lloyd.
Yeah. Oh. Did Jake Lloyd have a controversial role though? No, just she doesn't want everyone to turn on him.
Yeah.
What if Jake Lloyd has like a movie where he plays I don't know, a Hispanic character?
He does brown face.
Yeah, just brown face. Okay. This is weird because it's almost the same thing in a weird way.
In even a weirder way, I'm just going to interject here because with this intrusive thought that I just can't get out of my head now.
Okay, go for
So a remake of Short Circuit, but set in East LA, and it's Jake Lloyd playing like the engineer, and he is like a Hispanic character.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've never seen Short Circuit.
Never seen Short Circuit?
No, I've always seen the cover of the movie, but I've never seen the movie.
Well, the like Indian engineer who creates Johnny Five is like a white dude, and that's like what the controversial thing about
oh really?
about the movie is they like
What?
put makeup on him and he's talking in an Indian accent.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh! Can we
Dude,
watch this movie?
we
please?
should watch this movie because besides that, I mean, fun ride. It's a movie about a robot movies. What are you gonna do?
And the movie's delightful. So this next one is writing witty poems, and this is from
Which is
Esteban. Thank
kind
you,
of like
Esteban.
a
That's what
freestyle
I'm
battle.
saying. It's sort of the same thing. I feel like we can just save some time and say the Major ScarJo has it in this situation.
It's same situation.
Yeah.
How weird.
How? Yeah, that is very strange.
They're the same person ending up in the same situation back to back.
Yeah, and the
We
argument
already
is the
know
same.
how it's gonna end.
Yeah, Decker shows no poetry writing abilities in
No.
Blade Runner.
Not
so,
that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
There's very
I'm
little
aware
I'm
of
aware
either.
of concerning this character.
yeah, we need to watch that again. And you know what's weird too? Ghost in the Shell and Blade Runner are both kind of like not hard to follow, but there's like a lot of dry stuff and a lot of like dialogue heavy things in both movies. Alexis, man, you're knocking it out of the park. Okay, so we've come to that time that everyone knows and loves. The
Loves.
time where we'd see if Batman keeps going, if this joke continues, or if we restore this segment to sanity and reality. Now, me, I'm like Loki right now. I'm like the Prince of Crime or whatever it is, or trickery, the God of trickery. The Prince of Crime is the Joker.
The trickster
That's
god.
how Batman I am right now. Yeah, Loki's the trickster god. I'm thinking about Batman nonstop.
You're just totally immersed in it.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks like a long one. Okay. So this is a recent suggestion from Danny. And
Danny B.
Yeah, from Danny B. Who can watch the most Big Bang Theory episodes with the director's commentary on?
Um.
Yeah. And I believe this is like an endurance style race.
Ooh.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Daniel. This is interesting. I don't know enough about Ghost in the Shell to know if she ever has to sleep or not. Like, I don't know if she, like, what's the human to android relationship?
I feel like this is a dumb question, but does the android have emotions?
It seems like she cares about people. But again, I am so unfamiliar with Ghost in the Shell. I have, like, a very baseline knowledge of it.
David, you're our anime guy, man.
I mean, that's not saying much. But like, out of the two of us, I'm the anime guy.
It's a default thing.
Yeah, it's a default thing. Okay, let me just do a quick little search here.
Do a quick little search there, David. I wonder what you're searching. Is Batman a patient person?
Well, the thing about Batman is he's been, like, trained, especially in the League of Shadows, to hold up against in what I am saying is a type of torture. You know what I mean? Watching Big Bang Theory alone, but then with director's commentary on it.
Like trying to sit through Big Bang Theory while somebody's talking to you about Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
It's like,
doesn't get lower than that.
no. I don't know if I could think of two worse things.
Ooh, hey. Hey, everyone. So this is straight off Reddit, so we know it's reliable. From Hallenbat. Someone originally asked, does the Major need to eat? Depends on how cyborgerized you are. Motoko Kusanagi.
I hope I'm not cyborgerized at all.
Right?
I don't feel cyborgerized.
Kusanagi, for instance, does not need to eat as she's a full cyborg. Her is just a brain in a case. She does not eat in the traditional sense. Her brain is encased in a shell. What's called a brain case is supplied with nutrients and what it needs through the brain case. There are cyborg foods that cyborgs with special stomachs can eat like regular humans. This doesn't say anything about necessarily like, oh, cyborgs still need to sleep as they are still humans in the sense that they are a brain. So the brain still needs to rest.
Your brain does need to sleep.
The brain needs to sleep. It can't go without it.
So they are at least even in that regard.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh.
This is...
A quandary? Is that what you call it?
This is tough. This is really tough.
I'm just trying to think of arguments, and I got nothing. And obviously, I'm trying to think of arguments in favor of the Major. So is that who she is?
Yeah, the Major. See, and the thing is, too, in Standalone Complex, apparently at one point the Major is replaced 100%. But we're talking about Scarlett Johansson whitewash Major. This would be before that happens.
Okay.
This would be still a fake brain.
Huh.
It's a coin toss, Frank. It's literally a coin toss because the Major, I think, just as arguably could tolerate watching TV for a long period of time.
I'm just wondering if an android could be annoyed.
Yeah, right? But she's a brain, so she's still a person. Like, being annoyed comes from your brain.
She still has her medulla oblongata.
she's ornery because of her medulla oblongata. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Wow. What should we do?
I'm trying to, at this point, I'm trying to think of solutions because I'm stumped.
I'm stumped too. Everyone, I hope this isn't anticlimactic because in all of our arguing, it's always seemed like there's a reasonable answer, and we're not just gonna.
And I feel like I try not to BS. I'm trying to think from
Yeah.
logic. We are men of logic,
We're men of
David.
reason
If
will
people
prevail.
say anything about us, they're like, those are two men of logic.
People tell me that all the time. David, you're such a man of logic. I'm like, thank you.
That
Thank you
makes
so
sense.
much. Logical. Seems logical, Captain.
I feel like we got to call this one a draw, David. Like in this situation, it's a crapshoot.
I have a proposal. A special proposal, Frank.
David.
No, not that kind of proposal.
Oh,
We need to have a winner. I'm not down to settle with a tie, especially given
no,
that there's
I'm
a
saying
reigning
like
champion.
in this scenario, like we got to pull another predict.
Pull
man.
another predict. Oh, I was gonna say let's leave it up to random chance, but that seems way more legit. Let's pull another predict.
I don't know. Random chance kind of sounds good to me now.
Right, it's like 50-50
This is
chance.
like the best shot that I have had at getting rid of Batman in a long time.
That's a good point. We could just pull. We could
Could
just
this
pull
be
out.
my day in the sun?
We could just pull out the bingo cage, even or odd,
Oh my god.
and you can bet even or odd.
Oh my god, can we please?
All right, everyone. Here it comes. Let's see here. Give me 1 second.
Oh goodness. All right, so I won odd.
You went odd.
Yeah, I won odd for ScarJo. And that might seem odd, but don't even question my thinking.
Here it is, everyone. I'll go ahead and hold it up just so we can be dramatic. And you know what? I'm going to get a little bit closer to the microphone.
Get a little bit of the audio in there too.
Yeah. The audio is the best part. Wait, that's going to make it
Yeah,
come out
that's how
right
you want
away.
to get it. Oh, I am so nervous right now.
Are you ready?
What is it, David? What is it?
Why don't you read it? I feel like that's more right. I haven't even looked at it.
Ah. 66. Batman wins again.
Wow.
Very upsetting.
You're not just lying to me, right? Just to make me feel.
I'm very upset. I
Feel
mean,
better.
is the letter on top or on the bottom? What's in the rules? There is no line because this is either a 99 or a 66, depending on how you look at it, David.
Here's the most amazing thing, everyone. 2 weeks ago on the set, I decided that I was going to add something, a little subtle hint that Batman is always with us. I hope you can see him in this camera. This is Bruce Wayne, and particularly is the Adam West Bruce Wayne from the original Batman TV show that started in 1966.
Lame. Synchronicities are cool, but I'm still not happy.
This is amazing. I feel like I should go play the lottery right now.
It was so upsetting. As I turned over, I was like, it's finally the end of such an annoying era of having to talk about Batman every few weeks.
No. So, personally, I loved that. I hope you loved
you
it
lose
too.
some, you lose some.
You lose some, you keep losing. Let us know how you enjoyed this episode. Do you want us to talk more about strange things? Should we do conspiracy theories? Should we do aliens?
Ooh.
Should we do weird creatures? I don't know.
Creatures.
Let us know. Go watch Batman 66. It's great.
I guess. Goodbye.
Goodbye.